ni maarufu kwa sababu haina watumiaji. Mfano mzuri ni mtandao wa MZ ambao ulianza South Africa mwaka 2005 nadhani, na ukafanya vizuri, ukaweza kufikia hata nchi 11 nyingine nyingi pia nje ya Afrika, lakini ilishindwa kukua kwa sababu ya ushindani kutoka katika makampuni kama WhatsApp na Facebook.
Elon Musk amegusia swala zima la kuleta uhuru wa kujieleza hasa katika mtandao wa Twitter. Tunavyohisi ni kwamba bara la Afrika limekuwa na udhibiti hasa katika mitandao ya kijamii ukiangazia katika upande wa serikali. Unahisi hili litakuwa na athari gani hasa barani Afrika?
Nadhani kwa kiasi kikubwa makampuni kama Twitter yanafanya kazi na serikali, na makampuni hayo au mahusiano haya kati ya wawili yanaendeshwa na misingi ambayo kampuni imejiwekea. Sasa Elon Musk kusema anataka kuleta uhuru kwa kujieleza, maana yake ni kwamba misingi ya namna gani Twitter inafikiria kuhusu kosa na sio kosa ndani ya mtandao wake itabadilika, na hii ita-affect mahusiano ya Twitter na serikali mbalimbali. Kwa sababu it's not the same rules anymore. Namna ambavyo engagement imekuwa ikifanyika ya content na kulimit vitu ambavyo vinaenda mtandaoni kutoka katika eneo fulani inabadilika. Lakini jambo kubwa la kuzingatia ni kwamba sehemu nyingi za Afrika wanapokuwa wanadhibiti maudhui ya mtandaoni, huwa inakuwa sio kudhibiti maudhui yenyewe au maudhui specific, lakini wanadhibiti mtandao mzima.
Tuelekea Afrika Magharibi ambapo wananchi wa Ghana wameanza kutoza ushuru wenye utata wa matumizi ya miamala na malipo ya fedha kwa kutumia simu. Hii inatarajiwa kupandisha ushuru wa miamala mtandaoni na kubadilisha jinsi shughuli ya biashara mtandaoni na malipo ya fedha yanavyofanyika nchini humo. Zawadi Machibia anaarifu zaidi.
Nana Adoa Anemful anafanya biashara ya kuuza nywele za bandia katika soko la Makola mjini Accra. Nyingi ya huduma zake za kibiashara na malipo anatumia muamala wa simu. Hivyo ushuru mpya unampa wasiwasi.
Tunatakiwa kuongeza ushuru wa miamala ukiachilia mbali gharama za vitu ambao utapandisha bei. La sivyo tutarejea kwenye malipo ya pesa taslimu.
Uchumi wa Ghana kwa sehemu kubwa si rasmi. Katika idadi ya watu milioni 30, ni asilimia chini ya 10 ya watu ndio wanaolipa kodi kwa mujibu wa sensa ya mwaka 2021. Katika miezi karibuni uchumi pia umedhoofika kutokana na kuongezeka kwa deni la taifa, kupungua kwa thamani ya sarafu na kuongezeka kwa mfumuko wa bei. Kwa serikali, kodi mpya ni kama suluhisho la haraka.
The general average today.
Eneo la ECOWAS wastani wa kodi kwa pato la taifa ni 18%. Ghana tuko kwenye 13%. Tunazungumzia kuchukua kodi kwenye sekta ambako kuna faida kubwa, na tunataka kuleta faida kwenye mfuko wa serikali pia.
Also bring that value into government coffers.
Mjadala huu kuhusu sheria mpya mwaka jana uliishia kupigwa kumbo bungeni kiasi cha kutokukubaliana. Hatimaye sheria ilipitishwa wakati wa bunge wa upinzani waliposusia bunge, lakini wataalamu wanaamini kuna namna nyingine ya kuongeza mapato ya serikali.
Ukiangalia jinsi kodi zilizopo zinavyotumiwa, iwe kodi za mapato kutoka kwenye mashirika, watu binafsi au hata VAT na zinazosalia, kiwango cha uzembe unaoonekana kwenye matumizi ni kikubwa, kiasi kwamba kama serikali ingejitahidi kudhibiti na kufuatilia ufanisi wake, ingeweza kuongeza mapato zaidi kuliko ushuru huu na utata wake wote unaojitokeza.
Nitalines Mwashigadi, tukijaliwa tupatane tena.
Wewe ona, sitaki maneno mingi. Mimi niko na njaa, niletee keroma nikule. Ni aje ama niamke niende?
Ukora ile unaleta hapa, ukora unakuja hapa.
Unachoka kupiga kila kitu.
Sisi tunajua.
Very good.
Tunaanza na kuongeza kwanza anchera.
Okay, sana Angela hawezi kuja.
Mama Kayae olesa lini kusema ukweli?
Wacha habari ya kuzaa.
Na tu kuona ukuwe mjamzito.
Huyu mtoto ni wa nani?
Ni wa Chamatonde.
To get John chapter 11 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *965#.
I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. John chapter 11, verse 25.
To get John chapter 11, dial *811 *965#. To get John chapter 11, dial *811 *965#.
And welcome to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 16th day of May 2022. It is a day when the Right Honorable Raila Odinga is going to announce who is going to be his running mate, and it is also the day when the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission will be receiving the names of the running mates for the various presidential candidates. All those events will be happening at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. And remember that the party's presentation of nominees are going to be there. And there is also the case of the Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and his moves. Kelvin Washira is going to be keeping up with that story, telling us what's going to happen. But taking a look at all of the stories, let's get a feel of the ground from our reporter, Safin Acheng Ouma, who is at the Kenyatta in the International Convention Center. She'll be joining us shortly to give us a feel of what it's like there, and also Ben Troinjoy will be with the IBC. Two conversations we're going to have today before we move over to the KICC. That's from 11 a.m. One is about chess as Kenya prepares for the World Chess Olympiad that's going to take place in Chennai, India in late July and early August. The two of the top Kenyan players were in Ethiopia for the Region 4.4 Championship. Sasha Mongeli, who is a women FIDE master, won clean. 9 points is what she got. And then we had Martin Joroge, who finished fourth, 5.5 points, and he's also preparing for that. The points that he earned mean that he can now qualify to be a FIDE master. That means at the top level of chess as they move towards the Grandmaster level. Now, the other conversation that we're going to have is about motorsport. Wheel-to-wheel racing on a track, going round in circles, as some would say, but over several distances, and eventually you've got a winner who drives faster than all of them. What about rallycross coming into Kenya? Exciting, it's short, it's in an amphitheater, basically stadium-based, and everyone can have fun. And to speak about that, we're joined by the reigning African rally champion, Carl Tundo. Welcome, Carl Tundo.
Nice to be here.
Good. Thank you for making time for us again. I think the last time we spoke was just before Christmas. I think I can almost remember the date, around the 18th of December when you're in France after the awards. And right now, you have, taken a back seat from rallying, and the one event you've had for this year was the East Africa Safari Classic. Your experience, it wasn't the best after your triumph. No. Went sideways for the first 2 days.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, the Classic Rally, and you've got to be fully prepared. Unfortunately, my engine blew after the sort of first day, second day, so that it was over before it began. But I managed to build another engine, put it in. That's why it's a sort of an exciting experience, even to do that. And then managed to help Baldy a few times throughout the race. I mean, it's just an amazing event. It is the best sort of classic rally and I would say rally in the world.
Well, for a proper the rallying as we have it, one stage is equal to the competitive and transport distance in a KNRC event How much of a change in preparation did you have to do for this 9-10-day event?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. You completely change your mindset about how you go into the event. It's an endurance event. It's old cars. You've got to look after them. We're on open roads, so it's a completely different mindset and form of rallying. Not that the latest rallying is bad. It's just different. Yeah.
Well, and now you've taken up, and from your shot, everyone says RX, Rallycross, as they call it. What drove you to come in to have Rallycross in the country, which is basically wheel-to-wheel sprint racing?
It's an exciting new form of motorsport that's growing around the world, and why not have it here? It's a place where lots of fans can come and watch. It's, motorsport is quite difficult to watch and get involved in. So this is sort of, as you said, in an amphitheater, stadium style sort of racing. And I just think it will appeal to our motorsport sort of fans out here. And I for one, sort of have never raced side by side anyone. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it's just going to be a huge. I can't see why it won't be a huge success.
Well, talking about it is that former motocross champion Tejas Herani has had his experience in Rallycross, and he participated in events in Europe, so he really knows. Well, some Kenyans have been there, and what caught that bag for you and your long-term navigator, Tim Jessup, to go down to Machakos and think of getting a place where you can do Rallycross?
I'd heard that they were designing and building a Formula One track there, and I didn't believe it. So, so I went down there. I was invited down there by the governor, and they've been nothing but helpful. They have this dream, which is an amazing dream, and we had a dream, and it seemed to gel together. And we're working in synergy. So the track is the tarmac section of this Rallycross sprint is just absolutely phenomenal. It's sort of 12 meters wide. And then we've added in the gravel section, almost complete. It's just something that cannot not happen in Kenya.
The other one is, what's been the experience, trying to put up the track, the tarmac track is 4.5 kilometers, the Rallycross track, 1.8 kilometers. How did you, try to get the carbs for the dart part?
So the whole track is 1.8 kilometers. We're only using 900 meters of the tarmac, and then we sort of come off it and onto the gravel and run side by side to the tarmac. So it creates a sort of good viewing area, and it's still not complete, but I was there and have been there sort of regularly trying to sort of complete it, and
All right. Yeah. Well, we're with Africa Rally Champion and multiple Kenya National Rally Champion Carl Tundo. Speaking about Rallycross, it's a new format. And you know what? We'll be giving you some pictures of what it's like to be on a Rallycross track. Those are coming soon. But right now, let's go to the Kenyatta International Convention Center and get a feel of what it's like there. Safin Achieng Ouma is our reporter. Over to you, Safin.
A very good morning to you, Daniel Wahome. Indeed, we are coming to you live from the Kenyatta International Convention Center, expecting that much-awaited public announcement by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance on who is going to deputize their presidential nominee, Raila Odinga. Remember, it's an announcement that Kenyans have been waiting for since Thursday, when the panel of eminent persons submitted their final report to the presidential nominee, Raila Odinga. Just to take you through what is happening right here, as you can see already, this place is packed with the supporters of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, jubilant supporters who started trooping in this place from early morning just to show their love and support for the coalition. Earlier on, they were singing songs of praise for the presidential nominee Raila Odinga, just to express where their heart is ahead of the August election. Of course, security is quite tight here, but a few supporters have been allowed to come in, and we are expecting also leaders who are allied to the Azimio la Umoja to continue trooping in, and of course ahead of that public announcement. Just to take you through how we got here, Wahome, it is a journey that began for the Azimio la Umoja by the selection of the committee of eminent persons who are to sit down and advise the presidential nominee on who is going to deputize him on ahead of the August polls. Remember, they were to advise him, not to make the final decision on who that person is going to be. So the committee went ahead to invite applications for those who felt that they were suitable to hold this particular slot, and they received quite a number of applications from across the country. 11 candidates were shortlisted. An initial list of 7 people was released to Kenyans out there. Just to take you through who made it to this particular list, it included Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, and of course Sabina Chege and Peter Kenneth, who are nominated by the Jubilee Party, NARC Kenya Party leader Martha Karua, Senator Gideon Moi, who was nominated by his KANU party, and Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho. So on 7th of May 2022, we saw the panel review this particular list to 11, from 7 to 11, to include the names of Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya, ODM Deputy Party Leader Wycliffe Oparanya, NARC Party Leader Charity Ngilu, and of course Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui. But what we have seen over time is a drop of Senator Gideon Moi, who said he has dropped from this particular process in favor of Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka. So that left 10 people who were battling it out to deputize Raila Odinga ahead of August. And of course, they had interviews on 9th and 10th of this particular month, and concluded their report, and they were expecting that on Wednesday they were going to unveil that person who is going to deputize Raila Odinga. But courtesy of his 4-day tour in Mombasa County, Raila Odinga was not available to receive that particular report. So on Thursday, the committee sent the list of top 3 candidates to Raila Odinga. So pressure has been mounting on Raila Odinga from Thursday to say who, first of all, made it to the list of top 3, and of course also among the top 3, who among them is going to deputize him ahead of the August polls. So you can see quite a number of activities there as more supporters continue to troop in. This is just one of the vehicles just to sing songs of praise for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance. Remember, this is just a few minutes before the official commencement of that particular program, where Azimio la Umoja is expected to announce its presidential candidate. So you can already read the mood in this particular place. It is a heightened activity, as momentum is building up towards that public unveil. So among the top 3 candidates, we still do not know who are the 3 candidates who made it to the top 3. We still do not know among the 3 who is going to deputize Raila Odinga, but there has been a lot of speculations concerning, these 3 candidates, many fronting a name of a woman, 2 gentlemen, also a lot of word going around that they may have made it to that particular list. But we are waiting for this announcement to be made public and for Kenyans to know who is going to deputize Raila Odinga. But Wahome, it has to be a well-calculated move for any presidential aspirant, because there's been that aspect of the Mount Kenya vote, which is a vote-rich bloc, and also pressure has been mounting on the presidential aspirants also to warm their hearts towards a female presidential candidate. So Kenya Kwanza already did their part yesterday by unveiling who is going to deputize William Ruto, and that is Rigathi Gachagua, the member of parliament for Mathira constituency. So we do not know whether Azimio la Umoja is going to go the women direction, the Mount Kenya direction. A lot of questions that Kenyans are still asking themselves, but I believe that that question is going to be answered in a few moments or hours from now. We're still waiting to see when that is going to happen. But for now, we leave it to the Azimio la Umoja. I want to believe the decision has already been made. It's just a matter of announcing who is going to deputize Raila Odinga, and for them it actually has to be somebody who is going to deliver the winning ticket. Now for now, it's back to you, Wahome. I'm Safina Cheng from KICC.
Thank you very much, Safina Cheng, at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where the presidential aspirant under the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, Raila Odinga, is expected to name his running mate, and also the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission will be receiving the names of the running mates. They have been given until today, the 16th of May. It is a deadline, and our team of Safina Cheng Ouma and Ben Troinjoe will be covering that event. Well, let me introduce another member of our team who is our sign language interpreter, and Wangeshi. She's at the bottom right of your screen. We continue with our conversation, and this is about rallycross. We are with the Africa Rally champion, the reigning Africa Rally champion, Carl Tundo. And he's been telling us about preparing a track, 1.8 kilometers of which about 900 meters is tarmac, and the rest, half of it is dirt. And there is something about rallycross. There's something known as a joker lap where you have to go an extra loop. So tell us how you've designed that track. Remember, it's part tarmac and part dirt, or gravel as we call it in this country. How then have you prepared that such that it's competitive and, you know, at times, and because it's wheel-to-wheel racing, maybe 2 or 3 drivers can contest?
Yeah, there'll be contact. We're obviously going to look seriously at the safety side of it and make sure that we use as much fiberglass on these old cars as possible. The joker lap is really interesting, so we've added another 200 meters sort of on the side of the gravel, and on the opposite side we've got a huge jump, so, you know, to make things more spectacular. It's all a work in progress, you know. It's never been done here. We're learning from the beginning, but it's exciting. So you know, it's just special, yeah.
Well, and if you want a feel of that track, well, there are pictures, and these are pictures of Carl doing a test run in his car of that track that is at the Machakos People's Park. And when you went for this event, I'm sure there are people who are interested in seeing, so what exactly is Carl doing at, you know, on this track as we see the transition from the tarmac onto the gravel?
There's the joker lap on the right there.
So, so the joker lap's on the right.
Yeah.
And you come
in. The main one. And you see how wide it is, so you can fit, we're hoping 6 cars. 6 cars, probably maximum for now. We're thinking for safety, maybe 4. You know, us Kenyan drivers are not so disciplined.
No, I hope no Matatu drivers, you know, don't know how to fit in even 7. But from your general feel of the track, and also, you know, at times having done a track like Jamhuri, what was it like driving in Machakos?
It's really good fun. It's a different, as I say, I'm not really a track racer. I haven't done much autocross or anything like that, but I love driving cars, and the fact that you're mixing in gravel and tarmac. Tarmac's not really a well-defined sort of format in Kenya, so it'll be fun. Yeah.
The other one that people talk about is, number one, no navigator here. So what's the process, you know, of getting a feel of the track? What's the mode that you're going to use so that drivers, you know, can know it's just the driver and the car and the truck?
Driver, car, track. Hopefully the drivers have enough brains to remember 1.8 kilometers worth of track. It's not that difficult once you're in there. In overseas, they have a manager talking to the driver to tell him where he's sitting and what position he's sitting, and when he should take the best time to take the joker lap so that he slots out in front of his competitors. For now, we're not going to have that. We've got to start somewhere and start somewhere small. But yeah, fun.
Autocross style is what you'd say.
Autocross, yeah. It's an autocross, but with 6 of you at the same time.
The other one is a car preparation that everyone's talking about. You want to have one car. They've simply said, let's start with the Subaru N10s, which are so many in the country. They're packed, they're not competing.
So it's basically the old 2-litre turbos, so it doesn't have to be I wasn't being specific about the N10, but the old 2-litre turbos, the GC8s, the N10s, the Evo 7s, probably not the Evo 10s because they're sort of a later model, but we're going to sort of put it back so that there's a lot of rally cars out there that are sitting in the garages that can't be used or not being used, and we're trying to make it cheaper and more affordable if you have a car and want to come and race. And the beauty about this is it's one car with a team of 4 people, so you've got a female, a veteran, a junior, and a champion of any discipline. So and champion means just at the top of your game. Those are the sort of categories we're going to do it. So it's a team event rather than an individual event to begin with.
What's been the response when people had, look, we have a junior, we've got one women's team, you've got a champion, all coming up together. What was from the rallying fraternity? Because we've seen so many names move out of rallying.
Yeah, I think it's exciting, and I've had a lot of calls of how people can get involved, how they want to come back. All the veterans discussing wanting to get involved. It's just going to be spectacular, you know, seeing the old guys racing against each other, and then also the champions. You know, my arch nemesis and best friend Baldy. I can't wait to race against him side by side. And then the girls racing against each other, and then the juniors, the young stars, hopefully racing against each other. That's the idea. It's just to create some sort of motorsport bonanza where we can all get together and get back to sort of good old social aspect of motorsport.
Well, let me just try and think of Team Tundo. This is your father, Frank. He'll be in the vets. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. The women's team would have your sister, Natasha, and you'd be there in the champions. Who would be in the junior team?
We haven't quite got there yet, but we've decided to split the family up into different teams, just, you know, for the fun of it. So we will be racing against each other rather than together.
Well, you've had your notes read in rallying by Tim Jessop. What most people do not know is that he's actually a very good driver. You've given him a few seats when you know you've got a 5-minute lead at the rally. Does the final stage. Is he coming in as part of the organizers or one of the competitors? You
know, he's organizers, but he's also, I've definitely convinced him that he needs to compete. He's always said he's a better driver than me.
All navigators say that.
So, no, again, that's why it's so good that, you know, you can be a champion of any discipline, and if you've ridden a bike and want to come in, you know, welcome. So no, but that will be the worst bit because he's more competitive than I am, so it'll be very interesting racing against him.
When you are doing this, the 9th and 10th of July, what's the entire plan? What's the whole setup around, you know, in Machakos? How do you want to have this event take place?
So we want to start off sort of on Saturday, do the qualifying heats just to sort of position people on how quick they are, and then get into the proper racing. And what happens is that each discipline, so like the females, will race against each other and score points towards the overall team prize. So say, for example, I don't know, Chloride Exide sponsor a car, you're actually racing to win for the sponsor, not for, you know, as a team. If you wreck the car, you've wrecked the car for
the entire team, and you're out. So that will go on throughout the Saturday, and then on Sunday we'll have probably the finals build up till about midday, and then in the evenings we're hoping to have some sort of festival, music festival, you know, just create a complete family atmosphere around motorsport. That's the idea. Well, globally, when you take a look at the World Rallycross Championship, I think the qualifying hit, after you do your warm-up, get a feel of the track, when you're going through the qualifying paces, they use 4 laps when it comes to, which means 3 normal laps and the joker lap, then comes to the semis and the finals, gets to 6 laps. Is it the same format you're using?
Yeah, we're thinking we're going to do exactly the same thing. 4 laps for the qualies, and then 6 laps final. And depending on how many teams we have.
So 4 teams, and so far, what is it that people should know as they come and watch these cars, so that they see the real difference when it comes to the to rallying and rallycross?
So I would say rallycross is Formula One on steroids. You've got rally cars, which, you know, they're not normally suited to tarmac the way they're set up here, so it'll be fun. It's all sideways, it's all drifting. There's contact. I mean, we're hoping not too much contact, but there will be contact. So it's just exciting, and it's quick. It's short, sharp, quick racing. Lots of different people racing. And you get behind your team, and hopefully the crowds and fans will love it.
Are you going to have a time limit for some of for the drivers when they're on the track?
As in, if they're
too because
slow.
It's 1.8. Give it an average of, or let me say, it's 1.8 kilometers. Let's simply call it 2 minutes, and it's 4 laps. Are you going to have that 8-minute limit or 9-minute limit?
No, it's literally whoever comes across the line first. So it's not really a timed event. It's who can get across the line first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. That's how it sort of plays out, and you move forward.
Well, truly Formula One on steroids. And also some of the other conversations that you've been having is trying to get rallying back to its groove. At the moment, the national championship is 10. You'd have 10 drivers with Karan Patel at the top. What was the story back, if we go back 12 years, around between 08 and 2012, when you'd have 70 entries, about 50, 60, 70 entries for a rally?
You know, to begin with, KCB was a huge boost to our rallying. But I think one of the decisions that KMSF made to make the championship a Group N championships, and Group N is a standard production car with safety aspects on it, it kind of brought the level all together again. So it was a driver's rallying, whereas now, I mean, the last sort of 5 years since the introduction of the R5s, which are super expensive, it's kind of made it's not so much a driver's competition. And also, I suppose, you know, the economic times, the COVID times, it's through no one's fault, it's kind of taken a bit of a dive. So, I mean, yeah, if we can sort of look around creating a championship that everyone can compete in, and because I would be very depressed entering in an old Subaru now, because you know you're not going to get anywhere near the sort of podium. So, you know, things like that, just, yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen the Ugandan scene. They get more entries than us. They've got older cars, the two-wheel drive. How do they do it differently? And just to make it, have the numbers on the roads.
I actually don't know the secret there, but they are so passionate about motorsport. I mean, I've heard stories of drivers being funded by their fans to compete, which is an amazing attribute to them. They are sort of the most passionate fans, I would say, on the continent, having rallied there once. I don't know their secret, but they do make it exciting, and the drivers there even more so are sort of gods, I suppose. Yeah.
Now, we've seen you drive that Proto. You could tell us about the car that you used to test the track out there, as we see some of your pictures from, I think, the Equator Rally last year, driving in the Minty car.
So my Proto I mean, there's quite a few of them around. It's just a Ford Fiesta body with a Mitsubishi engine running gear in it. It's quite old. I've bought it back out because I feel it would be great for this sort of form of racing. And hopefully, I haven't completely given up rallying because I love it so much. Hopefully we can do sort of my most favourite sort of rounds in the championship and start enjoying ourselves a bit more.
Which are your favorite? The Safari, I know, is Hyundai was supposed to offer regional champions drives, but that did not materialize. Where does that leave you?
Yeah, that was really depressing and most unfortunate. Obviously the changes in Hyundai and the changes in FIA, everything got cancelled. We're still pushing to get a drive somewhere at some stage, which would be great. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But my favourite sort of events here obviously were the Safari, because of the nostalgia behind it. I love it. I think I've done 20-something rounds, and obviously won 5 of them. So that's at the top. But actual driving is Nanyuki Rally is right up there. I love Nanyuki.
Where in Nanyuki? Is it the Batin scene? Is it Oldaiga?
It doesn't matter. The Loldaigas and that sort of area, general area, is definitely my form of excitement and driving style. It sort of seems to work.
Which other events will you be doing? Are you doing the mini classics that are on them?
Yeah, hopefully we'll do the mini classic and perform a bit better. Obviously the classic rallies, looking forward to those. Yeah, again, as I said earlier, it's tough. You know, economic times, tough. Sponsors trying to pick up some money to do these events is really tough. So, yeah, I was fishing for a bit, but now I think Rallycross has taken over.
Yeah, I know, and it's budget friendly, one day, one place, almost like autocross. And you know, there is the conception in Kenya that probably, you know, rallying is professional, but what people forget, it's amateur, but you've got to meet the cost. When you're doing Group N, when on average, just off the top of your head, when you had the Evo 10, how much was it costing you to do a round of the KNRC? Think of the
So an N10 from when we started, and they were much longer rallies. They were sort of 300-400k rallies. We would need a budget of about 150-200,000, which 15 years ago was a lot more than it is. But that's what we sort of budgeted on. And back then, when we were privateers, when I didn't have the huge backing and the you know, privileged enough to get a backing for so many years. So. Yeah, but the Group N cars are definitely a lot cheaper to run and operate.
Well, costs are going up, but we've got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about Rallycross and a third generation Tundo. Your son, he started off in autocross. How is he picking up that? We know we saw him in a couple of events last year. How's that going?
You know, it's tough because he's at school. I really am encouraging it. He's loving driving his little buggy. We'll see. You know, I'm not pushing. I hate putting pressure on. You know, maybe he's talented at something else, but so long as him and my daughter sort of are interested in motorsport and want to get involved, I'll push them as much as I can as a sort of a father. But he's done he's done one round and loved it. So we'll see what happens.
So who's the main coach? The grandfather, the father, or the aunt?
Combination of all. I think my father's a better coach than I am. He's more relaxed and he's definitely got more experience than I have with kids as well. Yeah, he's been a godsend to Billy and myself throughout the years. So I would say he would be.
Well, Carl Tundo, he is running Rallycross in Kenya. That is format. It's basically wheel-to-wheel racing. He calls it Formula One on steroids. So you've got 4 cars on a track that's about 12 meters wide, going over 4 laps of about 1.8 kilometers. The fastest past the line takes that heat, and remember, it runs until the finals. And for those who would be interested in getting into autocross, Rallycross, you've mentioned it's coming as a team. How do they get in touch with your team?
So there is on Instagram and on Facebook, there is sort of a contact page to get hold of me. It's at the moment it's myself and a few others, but get hold of me. I mean, we're welcoming whoever wants to try. Obviously, the more experience you have to begin with, the better. We want to also later open it up to sort of a 2-wheel drive, locally locally produced cars, you know, try and maybe even buggies, although I don't think that's on a safety aspect that great. But we want to try and open it up to all forms of
disciplines and the classes and the cars.
And then the dream in 3-4 years is to get the World Rally Cross crew here.
And what the communication, for example, with the FIA and the Motorsport Federation, because eventually when there is such an event, somehow they just get to know about it and want to offer support.
So they've already offered their support, which is fantastic. The federation have offered their support. Obviously, we've got to get it going. I'll get it going and get it sort of as a proven entity, but I don't see why they wouldn't support us and promote us and push us.
Surinder Thati is involved. He's a former FIA Africa president. What's his reaction? I know he's not in the FIA board anymore, but what's his reaction?
Yeah, you know, he's also super excited about this. He's a motorsportsman to begin with at heart, so he can see the excitement that this will build. So he's really helped, and he's also been a steward on actual FIA events. So he's got a wealth of knowledge that we can draw upon.
Carl Tindo, thank you very much for your time this morning. You know, we're hoping that we see you in action, rallying against champions. Who are those who've, you know, shown interest as yet?
So there's Baldy's shown interest. I'm sure Ian will show interest. There's Karan, I'm sure, will show interest. We haven't started opening up the entries because we haven't worked out how, but there'll be plenty.
All right. Thank you very much, Carl Tindo. Well, Rallycross, prepare your cars, get them all ready, and let's see how it all turns out in Machakos when we go when we just get down there and get ready for a lot of competition. Well, I've just been told, you know, we can continue for a little bit before we bring in our chess people. And one of the things that everyone should know is preparing a car for Rallycross. What is it that they need to do?
So, in my idea, on the minimum is to change all your panels to fiberglass panels, take the lights out, make sure your windscreen is not smashed. But there's a film that you can put on the windscreens, and I think that, just as a basic, that's if it's a rally car. If you're converting a rally car, obviously it's got the roll cages, the fire extinguishers, the safety aspects of a rally car. But now because it's expensive, if you start denting and touching other cars when you don't have a fiberglass panel that can be changed every sort of race. So that's the idea, and we're working with a few fiberglass sort of people in Nairobi to do sort of cheaper molds that we can just slot on.
The weights that are required for these cars, because ideally the cars are supposed to, Rallycross actually puts you at the same
weight,
weight, almost the same cars in the same class when it comes to power. What weight would you be looking at here?
You know, to begin with, we're not going to get so serious on those technical sides because, again, we want to put on an exhibition. Get it going, get it interested, and then you bring the rules in as it comes. So, you know, you can learn from other championships around the world. You can learn from Surinder, you can get the weights, you can get the powers. But I want to try and create cars that, as you say, are identical in as many areas as possible, so it becomes a driver's event.
So if it's the GC8, have all the GC8 people come here, put the change their panels, film their windscreen,
take the lights off, and then we weigh them, get them all the same. We can see the general power, make sure that they're all similar, and then you go.
Oh, well, very interesting. If somebody wants to train for this, how do they do it?
So my idea is to get 2 or 3 cars, and in between these events, after this first event, is to start the whole process of training people that are interested in going forward. So that's the idea, is to make it, you know, develop talent, because then from this you can, if you're talented, you can move to rallying. You know, you might have a bit of exposure, so this is a cheaper way so that then you can go rallying. The whole idea is to generate more excitement and more people involved in motorsport so that they want to rally in the end of it, because we've got WRC here for a while, so the more Kenyans we can get involved in WRC, the better. You know, that's where there's nothing better than standing on a podium and listening to our national anthem. It's the best feeling ever.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Carl Flash Tindo, Africa Rally Champion, and he is talking about Rallycross, basically wheel-to-wheel racing, and you've got a 1.8 kilometer track, 4 laps of it for the qualification, and you've got 6 laps for the semi-finals and the finals. Thank you very much, Carl. See you in July, and I hope to get a chance to ride in one of them and try do a lap see how badly I'll perform.
Well, we're thinking about putting stars in these cars, so if you're keen.
I'm not a star, just a humble Kenyan who keeps talking about motorsport. Thank you very much, Carl. Well, we'll be taking a short break, and when we come back, let's talk to two of our top chess players. We've got Sasha Mongeli and Martin Njoroge as they prepare for the World Chess Olympiads. They were at the region 4.4, and they were having their points go up as they move up to FIDE master ranks. Let's take a short break and then come back with a conversation around chess.
Shannon.
Mama, you must stop Pinky from taking Windsor away. You must stop her for me.
Pinky and I are back together. I hope you can all give us your blessings.
Now you're gonna do the exact same thing to Sean? You're a mother. How can you be so irresponsible? What's wrong with Jenny?
Cancer. Advanced already. Have you forgotten what she did to you? Don't you know what kind of person she is? You do her a favor, the next minute she'll stab you in the back without blinking an eye.
Gosh, stop it.
Weona, sitaki maneno mingi. Mimi niko na njaka, niletee keroma nikule. Ni aje ama niamke niende?
Ukora ile unaleta hapa, ukora unakuja hapa.
Unachoka kupiga kila kitu?
Sisi tunajua.
Very good. Tunaanza na kuongeza kwanza Anchera.
Okay, sana Angela hawezi kuja.
Mama Kayae olesali ni kusema ukweli.
Wacha habari ya kuzaa.
Na tu kuona ukuwe mjamzito.
Huyu mtoto ni wa nani?
Ni wa Chamasote.
You've heard of them. They need your vote. The debate coming soon.
FM Ilaiska Umada.
As campaign intensifies for the upcoming general election, what does all this mean for you, the voter? What do the candidates have to offer? How prepared are agencies charged with the election process? Join John Kuria and Safina Chieng on Kenya Decides. This and every Tuesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 as we unpack elections 2022 with a panel of various stakeholders. Make informed electoral decisions.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 16th day of May 2022. And remember, it's the day when the country is waiting to find out who's going to be the running mate for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. The Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who's the party's top presidential aspirant is going to be naming his running mate. The time indicated for that, from the information we've got, is 11 a.m. happening at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. Safina Chengohuma is our reporter at that event. And also, the names are being submitted to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. So the names of all running mates, we know we've had a whole list of people who are interested in being president. So they've got to present the names of the running mates, and the running mates will have to go through a scrutiny through bodies which are mandated to look at integrity issues according to Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. So those are two events, and that's a big story. Then we are also going to have Zainab Said. She's going to be taking a look at our IBC profile, and we've got the Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. What's his move? Everyone has got his eyes on Kalonzo Musyoka. Kevin Washira is our reporter for that story. So we are going to be keeping tabs on what's happening at the KICC and all around the country. And remember also that from tomorrow, Kisumu City will be hosting the Afri Cities Conference. We've got a whole host of delegates from across the continent who are going to be in Kisumu for that convention that speaks about urban areas and how to best manage them in Africa. So those are some of the stories that we'll be taking a look at today. Our sign language interpreter still within this hour is Anne Wangeshi. After motorsport, we move on to another conversation. And in Ethiopia, until the 8th of August, we had Kenyans competing, and this is at the Zone 4.4. This was an individual chess championship in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And we had woman FIDE master Sasha Mongeli. She won in the women's division. And finishing fourth in the men's division was the national champion, Martin Njoroge. Martin is here with us. And Martin, welcome to KBC Channel 1.
Thank you very much.
I know Sasha is going to be joining us in a short while and to talk about what it means for her and how she has progressed as a woman FIDE master. First of all, your experience out in Ethiopia for you, Martin.
Ethiopia was very interesting, but the food was too new for my stomach. I ate raw meat. I've never eaten raw meat. It's called kitfo, and I think if I eat raw meat in a restaurant in Nairobi, people will say I'm a witch. So it was new, but it was nice. The chess was interesting. It was, I think the level of resistance I usually encounter here in Kenya is much higher than in those countries. I think that is because in Kenya we usually have very many tournaments, but there are countries they don't have as many tournaments. So Ethiopia was really nice. I think I'll get a title.
Eventually?
Yeah.
Outside of the country?
No, from Ethiopia.
From Ethiopia?
Yes, but it will be confirmed. But so I'm waiting to see. It might be approved or it might be rejected.
Now, and the reason why I want to come into that, you finished fourth, and in the 9th round you played against Samir Nadir of Sudan. At that point, you were on 6 points then. He was on 5.5. What was that contest that saw you finish in 4th place?
So had I won my game versus Samir Nadir from Sudan, I think I'd have a top 3 finish and get, Sasha later told me I'll get an IM norm, an international master norm, but then, okay, I think he's higher rated than I am, so I learned, I took home the lesson from that loss.
And you've mentioned IM norm. Just for somebody who's catching up with chess for the very first time, you could tell us what IM norm means.
Okay, so in chess there are titles. Titles show your level of mastery in the game, and they are awarded by the International Chess Federation. Now, there are, I think, 5 titles in chess. The lowest is Candidate Master. Comparing it in terms of education, I'd say that a candidate master is someone with a bachelor's degree. A FIDE master is above a candidate master, and that is someone with a master's degree. An international master, what I'm referring to as an IM norm, is above master's degree, I think that is PhD. And then you get professor. Professor is now grandmaster. Now, an IM norm, to get, okay, I'll refer to as candidate master and FIDE master as CM and FM. So to get the master title, you need to have, you need to perform in 3 different tournaments. You need to have a certain level of performance. I think around 7 points out of 9 rounds. Now, if I finished with 7, winning that game, I'd have a norm. So you require to have that.
A norm means
how do I put it, Sasha?
Well, we're joined by Sasha Mongeli, and she is a FIDE master, and she won in Ethiopia. Congratulations and welcome to KBC.
Thank you.
Yes. Sasha, you know, having this conversation about the titles in chess, I am norm. Tell us, is the one that Martin would like, you know, to get some more details on.
In order to get the IM norm,
what does norm mean? And
norm is
international master nomination or nominal?
Normal performance. Normal chess level performance for an international master.
Okay.
A norm is you can get the IM title, but there are ways to get the title. So you can win a tournament that is titled, you get the title, or you can compete in tournaments to get the norms, 3 norms, and after you have 3 norms, you have the right ratings. Then you can apply for the title. So those are the 2 ways to get the IM title.
And for you, Sasha, you're a woman FIDE master.
Yes.
And you could tell us about your journey, about getting to the FIDE master, and I think 3.5 years ago, you know, being awarded as Sports Personality of the Month.
So I got the WFM title at the 2018 Olympiad, Chess Olympiad, after I got 7 points. And then after that, I went for Ethiopia for the zone 4.4 individuals, and I won the event. So currently I have the WIM title, though it's on condition that I reach 2,000 ratings. And
looking at where you are now, your ratings at the moment, standard is 1,634. For the Rapids, 1,599, the Blitz, 1,457. Tell us how this rating works.
Ratings.
How you earn the points for the different competitions, the various forms of chess.
Oh, so when you start playing chess, you have to attend rated tournaments to get your first rating. When you get your first rating, there's something called K factor. So you have a K factor of 40. And when you play against rated players, if you win, you are added points. If you lose, points are deducted. So the more you win, the more you add points. And then after you add the points, they are added to your rating. So each time you win, you are added points. That's how you get the ratings.
So here you are, you swept Ethiopia. 9 out of 9, and that's a competition. Those are the pictures on your screen now at the Zone 4.4 chess championship. It was an individual chess championship that was there in Ethiopia. You know, take us through this championship, the points that have come and what they mean for your rating.
Winning all the games, I only got 38 ratings that I'm going to add to my initial one. But since I was the highest rated, when in an event you are the highest rated, it's hard for you to get more ratings than when you are than when there are more higher rated player than you. So since the event there were less, I was the highest rated, so I could not get more ratings that I had expected.
So about how much, 38 points from the 9 matches that you played. Supposing you had somebody who was higher rated than you, how much of a difference in points would have come through?
If I defeat person who is lower rated than me, mostly I'll get maybe 10 or 8 points. But if I defeat a person who is higher rated than me, I get 14, 18 points. So that's the difference.
Well, it could be a difference of up to 10 points.
Yes.
So looking after the zone 4.4, what kind of rated events are you looking at for you to get to the magical 2,000 points? Knowing well that, and that's before the World Chess Olympiad.
I'm looking forward to African individuals to be in Nigeria next month. So I hope I could get a way to go there and get more ratings.
Well, Martin, let me come to you and your current ratings at the moment, 1,932. 2,000 points will get you to that. Where would it get you?
If I get 2,000 FIDE ELOs, okay, I'm more used to calling them FIDE ELOs as opposed to points. So let me refer to them as ELOs. So with my 1932 ELO rating, if I reach 2,000, okay, I think I'll be among the top 5 in the country, but I won't get a FIDE title. So to get a FIDE title, I need to reach, I think, 23. To get the IM title, I think I need to reach 2,400. So I have to keep pushing on. Yeah.
And how different is it for women's chess and men's chess when it comes to the titles? Because you'd have candidate master, FIDE master, then come to the IM.
So in women, I think, so in women, their titles are usually preceded by women. So women candidate master, woman FIDE master, woman IM, woman GM. But if they get their ELOs to be equal to the level of men's, they stop being a WCM and now they become a CM. So for women, I think any title that begins with W is lower. The conditions for getting it are lower. For example, Sasha will become a WIM, a woman international master, on reaching 2,000. But if I reach 2,000, I won't become a WIM because I'm male. So I need to. So for the winner of that tournament in the open section, by open I mean men's section. Yeah. So the winner in that section needs to reach 2,100. So when they reach 2,100, they get the title directly. Yeah.
And what about candidate master and FIDE master for the men in that case?
So the tournament had 9 rounds. To reach candidate master, you need to get 50% of the total number of games. So 50% of 9 is 4.5. So everyone who had 4.5 from that tournament will get the candidate master title. To get the, including also for women.
Yes.
I don't think they won't become WCM, they'll just become candidate master. For FIDE master, you need to reach 66% of 9 games. So 66 of 9 games is 5.85.
So that is 6 games.
That is 6 games, yes. In chess, you only get 1 point for a win or a half for a draw. So 5.85 means 6. So I got 6. So I think I should get the title.
Well, we're waiting for that. And actually, that qualifies you, the 6 points. So it waits a ratification. And that is standard chess.
Yes, that is standard chess.
Now, let's come to the other format, which is rapid. Sasha, how different is rapid from standard?
For standard, the difference lies on time control. For rapids is any time below 30 minutes. So that is rapid. And then for blitz is any time below 5 minutes. So that the difference is in time control. Standard 1 hour, 30 minutes, or anything above 30 minutes.
And when you're playing that, how challenging does it become, especially for decision making, for you to ensure that you keep getting the points and moving up to this high level competitions like the 4.4 that you had a weekend that ended on the 8th of August?
In Ethiopia, the time controls were favorable. We had 1 hour 30 minutes, and then after you reach move 40, you had 30 more minutes. So you have enough time to make the right decision. You can take your time, think through all moves. So that one is not challenging. But for the first time controls, most of the time people just play with the time instead of playing the best chess, because you can win if your opponent loses on time. If your opponent time reaches 0 and you still have some minutes, you get the win. So when we reduce time control, the win comes from you having the nerves to remain with more time.
Chess is a game that's decided by checkmate, eventually, where basically your king is the chief is cornered. How different is it from the time controlled one rather than what you'd call the standard, Martin?
So in a standard time control, a game can take 6 hours, 4, 6, maybe even 8 hours.
We used to know of some grandmasters who used to play for 3-4 days.
Yes, one game, yes.
Yes,
that was
Karpov and Kasparov.
In the 60s and 50s.
Actually, as late as the 90s.
Yeah. So that is standard chess. Now, there are 3 formats. There is standard, rapid, and blitz. Now, in standard, the minimum time control is 1 hour. So in rapids, it is 25 minutes per game. Now, in blitz, you can finish a game within 2 minutes or 3 minutes. The usual time for a blitz game is 5 minutes. Maybe to explain to the football fans, so the way a game is 90 minutes minimum. Now, in chess, a game can be 5 minutes minimum. But in those 5 minutes, you can finish your opponent within 1 minute or 2 minutes. It depends on how they are playing. So it all depends on how the opponent is playing.
All right. So tell us how you're able to finish an opponent in a minute.
Oh, so there is
or half the time, which is 2.5 minutes.
So there is usually a clock, which has 5 minutes on my side and 5 minutes on the opponent's side. Now, I make a move, I tap the clock. The clock is actually a timer. So my time runs down from 5 minutes going towards 0. So if I make a move and I've taken maybe 1 second, so my time is 4 minutes 59 seconds. And then if the opponent takes 4 minutes to think of their first move, now they're left with 1 minute versus my 4 minutes and 59 seconds. I make another move and then they lose on time. So I can win like that. That is winning via time. Or the opponent can match my time. So I make a move, tap the clock, I've spent 1 second. They make a move, tap the clock, they've spent 0.5 seconds. So depending on how fast they play and the accuracy of their moves, I can win the game on the board as opposed to winning on the clock. So that is how you can win versus your opponent in 2 minutes or a minute.
Well, let's now talk about the big event, the World Chess Championships. They will be taking place in India and
the Olympiad.
Yes, the World Chess Olympiad,
yes,
taking place in India. And Sasha, let me start with you. This had to be decided 6 months in advance. Initially, it was supposed to be hosted in Moscow, Russia, but things happened, and now you'll be going to Chennai, India, and from the 28th of July to the 10th of August. Talk about the local scene, especially for the women's game.
I did not get the question.
You did not get the question. The women's game in Kenya and how you qualified for the World Chess Olympiad.
Oh.
And I'll also ask you about your teammates, Madelta, Julie, and Cynthia.
So to qualify for the team, you go through 3 stages. The first one is the Kenya National Championship. After that, the top 24 players will move to play the second phase. And then the top rated, and then the top junior, and the winner of Kenya National Championship will go directly for the final phase. So after second phase, the top 8 players or 9, depending on how many players were able to go directly for the final phase, they will proceed for the final phase. And for the final phase, we will have round robin, where each player, all the players will face each other. After that, the top 5 will make the team.
Well, tell us about your teammate. Let's start with Madelta Glenda. What's the quality of Madelta?
She's a strong player, and she's a strong player.
Okay. Let's let you just hold back. The men's side, Martin.
Yes.
Qualifying for, the chess Olympiad and looking at, the process that you had to go through. Take us through it until the team was named in February.
So from December 26th to 30th December, there was the National Chess Championships, so to select the national team, you go through phases, as Sasha has just said. So that was the first stage for selecting players from number 1 to number 24 in the final ranking. Now, the players from number 1 to number 24, they go to play amongst themselves to select the best 12 from those 24 people. And then those 12 people go to a final stage to select 5 players. Now, there are, so in my nationals, it was difficult, but I think I won. So I went directly to the final phase, the last stage. So from those 24 players, there are several criteria for choosing who will progress to the next stage. The youngest, the best performing under 18, the national champion, and the highest rated Kenyan. Those 3 people will go straight to the final stage, so they will bypass the second stage. Now, from these 24 guys, 3 people have already proceeded to the final stage.
So that leaves 21.
Yes, that leaves 21. Now, the next 3, 25, 26, 27. Now they come to make it an even number so that no one lacks an opponent. So they play in the second stage, and then they choose the best 9 to go play together with these other 3 people. So it was tough. The final phase was very rough on me. I think, so it was played over 2 weekends. 6 rounds the first weekend, and 5 rounds the first weekend, and then another 5 rounds the second weekend. So from the first weekend, I was at risk of missing out on the team. That is how strong the level of chess players are. So the second weekend, I had to play. I had to put more effort. And until the last round, I was at risk of missing out on the team. It was very tough, but then I managed.
Well, let me talk about the other men in the team. Let's start with Ben Magana. How would you place? Where would you place him?
Ben Magana will be the captain. He's also my captain at KCB Chess Club. So he has been instrumental in helping me in improving, developing as an all-rounded player to compete equally versus the best chess players in Kenya. So his role as a captain will be instrumental for the men's team, for the open team, in putting up an excellent performance at the Olympiad. We also have experienced chess players who have gone to several Olympiads before, and they have served in various capacities as officials, helping other people, more of mentoring. So Githinji Hinga, Ben
Actually,
Goko.
he's in the Githinji Hinga is in the team. Tell us about Githinji Hinga.
Yes, so Githinji Hinga he's a strong chess player. In fact, when I got into the chess scene, he was among the names I wanted to beat. So I'm new to chess, but then I see there's this Githinji Hinga. Always in every tournament, podium finish Githinji Hinga, Githinji Hinga. So I was in high school. Now I'm wondering, who is this Githinji Hinga? I need to win against him. I need to win against him. So he's a strong player, and he has gone to various Olympiads. So his experience will be valuable in helping the new guys in the team.
Did you get that win eventually?
Yes, I beat him badly. It was rough. It was rough. In fact, comparing it to an animal, it's like when a cheetah tears off the limb of maybe a gazelle or a deer, and then just take apart his lungs and his heart. So it was rough.
Okay, this is somebody who plays some very brutal video games on the side, it seems.
Actually, chess is very rough. Chess is very, very rough. Chess is a mental game, and chess mirrors life. So when you see someone can be just seated and they look so calm, but they have too much pressure in their head about their lives. So and you won't notice. That is how chess players usually feel on the board. It is so rough, it is so hostile, and it is also an interesting game. So it has all emotions.
All right, let's talk about Ben Ngoku also. He's in the team.
Ben Ngoku is my teammate at KCB Chess Club. In fact, he's in the league, he's usually seated, so I'm board 2. So I'm seated next to board 1. So Ben Ngoku, then myself, and then Magana, Methu, and a lady player might be Joyce or Krishi. So I usually study his games when we're playing in the league. So I usually watch what he's doing. So I see the way he manhandles his opponents, and then now
language you're using.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
Put pressure on their opponents.
Yes, put pressure on his opponents. So in the Olympiad, I'll be watching him. I'll be seated next to him, and he'll be my teammate. So I learn a lot from him. He will teach me techniques of chess, of various chess positions that I'm not very sure of. So it will be interesting. Yes.
Okay, so Sasha, I'm sure now you're a little bit comfortable. We'll be coming to the women's team. At least you've got a few picks from him, and I hope you use wildlife analogies. But finally, the juniors, and we're talking about Robert McLeod.
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 Yes. So McLeod is an interesting opponent. He's in, I think he's in high school.
Yes. Actually, he did his final he did his final year exams. I think just in around March or something. We had him on that hot seat.
Oh, okay. So McLeod will be an interesting teammate because he brings to chess new energy. McLeod is the type of player who is okay to play any position, and he will not force the play to go towards a certain direction. He is okay to play any type of position, and also he plays a style of chess, openings, patterns. He plays patterns of chess that I don't usually play, so I think I have a lot to learn from him. It will be interesting to be his teammate.
All right. Well, and just a reminder of what Robert McLeod said is that one day he was picked up late from school, and he decided to go play chess, and he got hooked, and that's his story. We'll be coming to position and direction, because that's Those are two things that we'd like to, properly understand. And Sasha, let me come to you now. And you talked about Madelta. Let's talk about Julie Mutisia, who also made it to the chess Olympiad team. Tell us about the other women who you will be traveling with to India.
So far, I've gotten the opportunity to be teammates with Cynthia and Joyce. For Madelta and Julie, this will be the first time we are teammates. So I don't know much about them, but I look forward to working with them because they are good chess players. And I'm ready to learn something from them.
And let me just take you back, when you were awarded as a Sports Personality of the Month at the Technical University of Kenya. Afterwards, and I think there was also an award coming to you from the university. How did that impact your life, and how it got you to start more conversations about chess with your college mates?
After winning those 2 awards, I realized that so many of my classmates got interested in chess. And then when I would walk around the school, I would meet other female students who got interest in chess, and then they would ask me how I started. And then in the end, when I used to go to tournaments, there would be parents with their kids coming, and they just want to have a word with me. Their kids they would tell me that I'm their role model. So winning the award made me a role model to so many female players. So that's how it changed my life.
And how are you running the coaching, for upcoming players, for the female players who are interested? Because I know you get the calls. Sasha, I want you to come help my daughter. Sasha, I want you to come to our school, teach them and tell them about chess.
Mostly I request the players to send me their games. I go through their games, and then I give them feedback on what to adjust, where they should work on. And also play some games with them. Yes.
Well, very calculated, words, chess type coming in from Sasha Mongeli. And now, let me come over to you, Martin. You spoke about position, direction, and patterns. In that order, what are chess positions on a board? And, as Martin speaks, I know Brian can just give us some of the cards so that, we can see how, as the games were being played out in Ethiopia.
So what I mean by chess has 3 stages of the game: the opening, the middle game, and the end game. Now, to put it in a simple way is positions and patterns. Now, there are some various positions which the method of playing them is already known. There is only 1 or 2 good ways of playing them. Now, McLeod plays some various positions which which I've never looked at. So whenever I'm playing him, I have to think on the board. There is no previous work done in analyzing those positions. So those patterns, there are many. They are very many. But yeah, so I just have to look at them.
All right. Now, your outlook, Sasha, as we close, your outlook before the 28th of July, when the Chess Olympiad starts?
For the ladies team, we are looking forward to winning a medal. Yes.
And get more points, get the IM in the bag. All right. And for you, Martin, I know the men's division is going to be very challenging. What's the outlook for it? And between now and the 28th of July, what's the plan?
We have a grandmaster coach, courtesy of Chess Kenya. So I aim to utilize his skill and knowledge to build up my resistance in preparation for the Olympiad. Also, as the open team, we have to put up a sterling performance that hasn't been seen in previous open teams to the Olympiad. And I want to get an individual gold medal on the board that I'll be playing.
All right. Thank you very much. Martin Njoroge is a national men's chess champion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sasha.
And Sasha Mungeli, she's a woman FIDE master and also won the region 4.4 in Ethiopia. She came back tops, winning 9 out of 9. Thank you very much, Sasha. I'm sure you'll be more comfortable next time. You won't have to worry. It will be like playing against me. Kugonga tu rahisi. All right. Thank you very much. Now, let's move over to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, because on today, the 16th of May, there is one conversation in the minds of many Kenyans. Who is going to be the running mate for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party? Safin Achieng' Ouma, over to you.
Shukrani za dhati kwako Nancy Okware. Kama ulivyosema, tunakujia moja kwa moja kutoka jumba la mikutano la KICC hapa jijini Nairobi. Ni hafla ambayo imeandaliwa na mrengo wa Azimio la Umoja wa Kenya, ambao wanatarajiwa leo kutangaza ni nani atakuwa mgombea mwenza wa yule ambaye ameteua kama mgombea wa urais Raila Odinga. Ni hafla ambayo tayari ishang'oananga. Unaweza tazama tu nyuma yangu hapa, kuna baadhi ya wale ambao wanapigia debe mrengo wa Azimio One Kenya Alliance, na pia baadhi ya viongozi ambao wameweza kuwasili katika eneo hili. Ni nyimbo tu na densi wakisubiri wakati ambapo Raila Odinga kiongozwa akiambatana na viongozi wengine watakuja kuweza kutoa tangazo ambalo Wakenya wamekuwa wakisubiri tangu wiki hii. Na ukiangalia tu pale pembeni katika jukwaa, kuna sehemu ambayo imetengewa viongozi wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya. Viti tayari vimepangwa pale, ambapo wale ambao wameteuliwa kuwa wale viongozi wa Azimio One Kenya wataweza kuketi pale wakati ambapo kiongozi wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya anaweza kutangaza ni nani atakuwa mgombea mwenza wake katika kinyang'anyiro cha Agosti mwaka 2022. Na ni safari ambayo ilianza, na kabla hata nikueleze jinsi safari hii ilianza, basi tumeweza kushuhudia baadhi ya viongozi ambao wamewasili katika eneo hili, ambaye ni seneta wa Baringo Gideon Moi. Miongoni mwao pia tumeona katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM Edwin Sifuna na aliyekuwa katibu mkuu wa chama cha Jubilee Rafael Tuju, pia miongoni mwa baadhi ya viongozi ambao wameweza kuwasili. Na pia tumemwona kiongozi wa chama cha na Kenya Martha Karua, pia ni baadhi ya viongozi ambao pia wameweza kuwasili. Hatujashuhudia kiongozi wa chama cha ODM Raila Odinga, ambaye ndiye ameteuliwa na mrengo wa Azimio One Kenya Alliance kuweza kuwa mgombea katika kiti cha urais. Hajaweza kuwasili katika maeneo haya, lakini tunasubiri tu kuona ni wakati gani ambapo wataweza kuwasili, ishara kwamba hafla hii itaweza kung'oananga rasmi. Lakini ni safari ambayo ilianza kwa mrengo wa Azimio One Kenya kuteua jopo ambalo linaongozwa na mwanasiasa Daktari Noah Wekesa, ambaye waliweza kuketi chini kusaidia katika ile hafla ya kuweza kusaidia Raila Odinga kuteua nani atakuwa mgombea mwenza wake. Kwa hivyo jopo hilo liliweza kufanya wito wa kuambia Wakenya kuweza kutuma ombi lao, kueleza ni kwa nini ni wako bora zaidi kuweza kuwa mgombea mwenza wa Raila Odinga, na wakaweza kuweka majina 11 kati ya wale ambao waliteuliwa kuwa wamependekezwa zaidi kuweza kuwa katika kuchukua nafasi hiyo, na kuelekeza tu moja kwa moja katika majina yepi ya viongozi wepi ambao waliweza kuteuliwa kuwa kati ya wale ambao walikuwa wangeweza kufanyiwa mahojiano. Ni kiongozi wa chama cha Wiper Kalonzo Musyoka, Sabina Chege na Peter Kenneth ambao waliteuliwa na chama chao cha Jubilee, na vilevile kiongozi wa chama cha na Kenya Party Martha Karua, na vilevile pia kulikuwa na seneta wa Baringo Gideon Moi ambaye aliteuliwa na chama chake cha KANU na miongoni mwao pia alikuwa ni gavana wa kaunti ya Mombasa Ali Hassan Joho, na vile vile mwanasiasa Stephen Tarus ambaye aliteuliwa na chama cha National Liberal Party. Hao ndio walikuwa miongoni mwa wale 7 wa awali ambao waliteuliwa, na vile vile tuliona katika harakati hizi jopo hilo ambalo linaongozwa na Daktari Noah Wekesa waliweza kupiga msasa majina haya na kuongeza majina mengine 4 ambaye yalijumuisha katibu wa Wizara ya Kilimo Peter Munya, na vile vile kiongozi wa katika gavana wa kaunti ya Kakamega Wycliffe Oparanya, na vile vile kiongozi wa chama cha NAK Charity Ngilu, na gavana wa kaunti ya Nakuru Lee Kinyanjui. Kwa hivyo tumeweza kuona tu ni shughuli ambayo imechukua mkondo tofauti. Tarehe 9 na tarehe 10 waliweza kufanyia kupiga msasa wale ambao walikuwa wameteuliwa, kuweza kutafuta ni yupi kati ya wale ambao majina yao yalikuwa yamewasilishwa anaweza kuwa mgombea mwenza wa Raila Odinga, ambaye ataweza kusaidia mrengo wa Azimio la Umoja wa Kenya kupata ushindi katika uchaguzi mkuu wa mwezi wa Agosti mwaka huu. Na vile vile tuliona jopo hilo siku ya tarehe 11 iliweza kuahirisha ile ilikuwa imepangwa ile hafla ambayo ilikuwa imepangwa kuweza kusema ni nani kati ya wale 11 ameweza kuteuliwa kuwa atakuwa mgombea mwenza wa Raila Odinga, lakini hafla hiyo haikuweza kufanyika Nancy, kwa vile Raila Odinga alikuwa anaendelea na ziara yake ya kisiasa katika eneo la Pwani. Hivyo basi jopo hilo liliazimia kumtumia majina hayo ili aweze kuwa ndiye atakayetangaza. Kwa hivyo leo tunasubiri tu Raila Odinga na viongozi wengine wa Azimio la Umoja wa Kenya kuweza kuja hapa kutueleza kati ya wale 11, na vile vile kulingana na jopo hilo wanasema kwamba waliweza kuteua 3 bora kati ya wale 11 na majina yao yaliweza kuwasilishwa kwa Raila Odinga. Kwa hivyo tunasubiri kujua ni nani ambao waliteuliwa kwa wale 3 bora, na vile vile kati ya wale 3 bora ni nani ambaye anaweza kuwa atakuwa ndiye mgombea mwenza wa Raila Odinga. Kwa hivyo ni hayo tu kwa sasa. Tukiweza kupata mengi tutakuwa tunakufahamisha bila shaka, lakini kwa sasa ni hayo tu ambayo tumeweza kupata kutoka katika jumba la mikutano la KICC, na nitaweza tukuregesha kwako Nancy Okwara.
Na dada yetu Safin Achieng Ouma ambaye atakuwa akitupatia matangazo kutoka jumba la mikutano la kimataifa la Kenyatta ambalo lipo hapa jijini Nairobi. Well, welcome back, and it is a conversation about the number 2. Everyone is waiting for the announcement by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party flag bearer for when it comes to presidential aspirations, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, to make an announcement on who will be his running mate. We know that yesterday, Deputy President William Ruto named Madira MP, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, as his running mate. The Honorable Rigathi Gachagua started his career in working with the public service as a national government administrative officer, first as an assistant secretary, progressing upwards, becoming a district officer. At one point was the personal assistant to the person who was then known as the head of the civil service, and also secretary to the cabinet, working as a personal assistant in that office before going back to becoming a district officer, and eventually was a personal assistant to His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta when he served in government as a minister, and that was between the year 2001 and 2006. Amongst other names that have been fronted and were mentioned by Deputy President William Ruto when he was making his announcement yesterday were Kiharu MP Tende Nyoro, there is Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waigoro, and also there was also Professor Kithure Kindiki. But so much focus on today, and different names have been fronted, and the panel of eminent persons that was led by Dr. Noah Wekesa, had names to deal with. And one of the names that was presented is a person who ran for presidency in the 2013 general elections. She was a former minister for water, former minister for constitutional affairs in the government of the late former President Mwai Kibaki. She resigned and served as Geshogo MP. Let us get the profile of the Honorable Martha Karua.
Born on the 22nd of September 1957 in Kirinyaga district of the former Central Province, Martha Wangari Karua would later study law and get into the civil service as a magistrate, serving in various stations including Makadara, Nakuru and Kibera from 1981 to 1987. She plunged into private legal practice at the time Kenya was a one-party state, with the only political party being the ruling Kenya African National Union, KANU. Karua would make a name as a strong human rights defender, fighting against oppression and the one-party rule of the then-President Daniel Arap Moi. The fierce activist would team up with other lawyers such as Kiraito Murungi, James Orengo, Paul Muite, Gitobwe Wanyara, and John Haminwa to persistently criticize President Moi and his government. Karua would go on to defend Koigi wa Wamwere and Mirugi Kariuki against charges of treason. President Moi would finally give in to local and international pressure and allow the country to return to multi-party democracy in 1990. Karua joined Kenneth Matiba's Ford Asili party before moving to the Democratic Party of Kenya DP, where she won the party nominations in November 1992 and proceeded to win the election as Geshogo Member of Parliament in December 1992 against the incumbent Geoffrey Karikia Karivi. In 1995, she was recognized by the Federation of Kenya Women Lawyers FIDA for advancing the rights of women. In 1997, Karua would be re-elected to represent Geshogo constituency in Parliament on a DP ticket. In 1999, the Kenya section of the International Commission of Jurists awarded her the 1999 Kenya Jurist of the Year award. In the same year, the Law Society of Kenya, LSK, awarded Karua the Legal Practitioner's Due Diligence Award. In the 2002 general election, Karua would be among the founders of the National Rainbow Coalition (NARC), the coalition on whose ticket the then opposition leader Mwai Kibaki was elected the third president of the Republic of Kenya. Karua earned her third term to represent Geshogo in Parliament, a seat she would once again retain in the 2007 general election. Kibaki appointed Karua Minister for Water Resources, Management and Development in 2003, where she served up until 2005. She was then transferred to the Ministry of Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs in 2005, where she served until 2009. Come the 2012 general election, and Karua unsuccessfully vied for the presidency through her political outfit NARC Kenya. In 2017, Karua unsuccessfully sought to be the governor of Kirinyaga, losing to Anne Waiguru. On 20th September 2021, a section of leaders from Central Kenya named Martha Karua as the interim Mount Kenya Unity Forum convener and tasked her to negotiate with the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio coalitions. But she would finally settle on Azimio and back Raila Odinga's presidential bid. On May 9th, Karua appeared before the 7-member committee of eminent persons and interviewed for the position of Raila Odinga's running mate.
That is a profile of former Geshogo MP, 2013 presidential candidate, the Honorable Martha Karua, who's one of the names of the people who were presented to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga as potential running mates that were selected after interviews conducted by a panel that was led by former cabinet minister and former Kwanza MP, the Honorable Dr. Noah Wekesa. And also in studio with me, I've got my
colleague Nancy Okware. Na Nancy Okware, nikija kwako, najua uko na jopo lako la wachanganuzi watatu. Uko naye John Wanyama, Willy Kamau na Dan Migosi. Unaweza wakaribisha kwenye studio zetu za hapa KBC.